Yo, what's happening guys, King GBL here, and welcome back to a brand new Go Battle League video. Now today I'm going to be showcasing KitKat's Legend run, all the way from 2600 to Legend within 4 days, using TOGETIC, Vigorove and Piloswine to close the game strong. Now KitKat went on a pretty insane run this week. I believe she gained around 400 ELO in the last 3 days. Now this is KitKat's first time hitting Legend. I believe KitKat started Go Battle League around 1 year ago. I started playing the game casually, and maybe in the last 6 or 8 months, I started taking the game a little bit more seriously. I believe 2 or 3 seasons ago, she hit Veteran for the first time. Last season, she hit Expert for the first time. KitKat doesn't play all of her battles, however, she has been putting in a lot of work, learning optimal move timing, learning the game mechanics, trying to figure out the win cons, and generally just taking in as much information about this game as possible, trying to improve. And now this season, in less than 1000 battles, KitKat has hit Legend. So big shout out to KitKat. Be sure to wish her congrats in the comment section down below. Now I think this is a perfect example. If you're not happy with how things are going this season, you still have time left. There's still about 2 weeks left of the season, a week of Catch Cup and a week of all 3 open leagues. If you're ace right now, it is still possible for you to hit Legend. If you're on 2000 ELO, and if you decide, okay, I'm going to spend a couple of hours today, I'm going to look at move timing, I'm going to look at everything, I'm going to see what good teams there are, I'm going to have a look to see what's most popular teams in this cup, I'm going to have a look to see on PvPoke what the win conditions are. If you decide, okay, I'm going to learn this game, I'm going to take all responsibility, and try to play this game to the best of my ability, you can definitely do this too. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, please go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet done so, and if you guys would like some help, feel free to join our Discord in the description down below. I'll be more than happy to help, and I'm sure you guys can learn an absolute ton just by joining up in there. But hopping into this match, we have a very riveting match here, a very exciting matchup. We have Chansey versus Pilo. Pilo does win this matchup, and what KitKat does here is quite smart. She overfarms and makes sure that she has energy if the opponent decides to swap outright. Now it's getting to the point where the Chansey is more or less like 1 foot in the grave here. Now Vigorove did bank a move and KitKat predicts the snipe. She swaps back into TOGETIC, eats the move right here, and because she overfarms so much energy, she can now just dump the energy on this, not taking any additional counter damage. We still need to get to 1 more move in Chansey, or at least try to farm it down right. It's going to be pretty close. The opponent, yeah, I think that we're getting pretty close to a move. It does take Chansey a while, but of course the matchups do take a while, so that's really good management of Chansey. Whenever you do have a Pokemon like that, which is super bulky, and you have Pokemon in the back which are close to moves, you need to stay overfarmed and make sure that if they swap out and try to catch you off guard, you've got a move to throw at them. Good games well played there, and hopping into the next battle, we have a fantastic lead here, Shiny Shadow Dragonair. Definitely a very nice one here. Now Shiny Shadow Dragonair can make this matchup pretty close in the 2s. 2 Body Slams plus Dragon Breaths more or less KOs. They'll be forced to shield up moves here. As you can see, that Body Slam does quite a lot, and even though double resisted, Dragon Breath still add up. Dragon Breath is just so oppressive. Now the thing is, the opponent's staying in against the TOGETIC here. They basically try to play at the zeros. I like the shield here, because it's fairly clear that they're weak to this in the back. They come into a Crocodile, so that was a nice shield here. We're basically giving ourselves 2 Pokemon to deal with this. Yeah, we're going to fire off the Ancient Power, and we're going to like to try and get to another one, and KitKat commits to the good timing here. She could have just done to and fro, but because she already took the Incinerate damage, she was able to throw another 2 Steel Wings before they would take her out, so very nice management there, and in comes Vigorove. Now we had to sort of let the TOGETIC go down. Of course this Crocodile are very good against the Pilo. We let the first move go, because of course they do have a chance to debuff, and I think at this point, yeah, we decide to shield up. They probably have, okay, they actually have a Rhydon in the back, quite an interesting pick. Now Rhydon knows Breaking Swipe and Surf, however they do take super effective damage from the Pilo. As you can see, Pilo's just ripping it to shreds. Mudslap got buffed last season, but it's still a pretty slow move for energy generation. We're basically going to commit to the farm down here. That's an absolutely huge farm down. We're going to like to fire off this move on the Crocodile, and because we overfarmed a little bit, we should have some energy in the Vigorove. We do go for this move. Now actually I believe the Crocodile wins CMP, so very nice there, it worked out absolutely perfectly. And yeah, very nice game, good games well played. So the opponent was ABA weak to TOGETIC, but as you've seen, the Dragonair just put in so much work against the TOGETIC that we weren't able to see the ride on with it. We have a Dusclops lead in the next match, quite a decent lead for TOGETIC. It's a fairly neutral matchup, they can look to go for Ice Punches, so I think at some point here, we basically need to swap out and see what's in the back, right? They could have a Vigorove. Oftentimes a Ghost League comes with counter users in the back. We do eventually swap out here, and they do come into their own Vigorove behind an energy. They do chip us a little bit, but they just let us get an absolute ton of energy. They only done a few hexes, so definitely not a very good play by the opponent there. We actually win CMP as well, which is pretty huge, meaning the opponent's going to be forced to shield here more or less if they want to try to get off a move. Now at this point guys, we can just basically hold on to the alignment. Both of our Pokemon do quite decently into Dusclops, but Vigorove up energy is always a good thing to have. Now we decided that the second move go, we can live another body slam, and we should hopefully be able to get off. It's a Dragonair, but the good thing is we actually get our TOGETIC on the Dragonair, which is great. We're already ahead in energy. The opponent goes for a nice snipe here, but this gives us a massive opportunity. Ice Punch does not even close to KO, and we've already farmed the opponent into avalanche range, so we're just going to basically build up here. The Dragonair only done a couple of Dragon Breaths and then left, basically locking themselves in, giving us an opportunity to go for back-to-back moves. We can basically shield any move from the Dusclops, so they're not going to get to a Bait and a Poltergeist, so this is perfectly fine here. Back in comes Dragonair. This is of course going to one-shot them, and that's a good game. Once again, nice energy management. You know, it's very easy in that situation sometimes just to insta-throw the move and make it a really close matchup in the back, but getting that overfarm where you can get it, and just managing the energy was absolutely fantastic there. Now, in comes a Piloswine lead. Sometimes what you can do is 2 shield farm this the whole way down. It really depends on IVs. This is pretty inconsistent. If you have an attack with TOGETIC, you might get a breakpoint, which will give you extra damage. But by the looks of things, this is actually quite a bulky Piloswine, so this is looking a little bit tricky. The opponent gets to the move at the last second. This is super unfortunate. We're down 2 shields at this point, and yeah, that's so hard to come back from basically at this point. The opponent lives on 1 HP to get off the move. We come into Vigoroth. The opponent comes into Charjabug. I mean, do they have 2 Pokemon in the back that are weak to Pylo? If we can start getting shields here, let's say for example it's some sort of a flyer, or something that can get one-shot by Pylo, maybe this game's not completely over yet, so let's have a look here. The opponent goes for X-Scissor. 2 X-Scissors plus Volt Switches will KO. I think we do try to go for a catch, but unfortunately aren't able to make it, and it's all in Pylo basically at this point. This thing can do a lot of damage. 2 X-Scissors don't KO the Shadow. Yeah, they come into Vigoroth. So super unfortunate. Pylo lead is very tough for this team if you're going to try this. So if you notice that you're getting a breakpoint, if you think that you're getting a lot of damage for him, go for the 2 shield farm down. Otherwise, try to soft lose it perhaps. If you do have an attack with a TOGETIC, or if it's a Shadow Pylo, you definitely should be able to make that farm down. Basically come out with like 2 or 3 moves, take alignment, and hopefully get some shields back with your energy. Now, Vigoroth lead, fantastic lead for this. Most oftentimes they do go for the Rock Slide here. I know I do. I guess it just depends on your playstyle. Like, my playstyle is try to get shields off the opponent, so I'll just go for the hard-hitting move. If they want to let it go, that's fine. But generally speaking, guys, I know this is a big generally speaking, you can live a Rock Slide and a Body Slam if you have good enough IVs, or if the opponent's not super attack weighted, right? Boom, Body Slam doesn't quite KO, and we can get off this last second Aurelius. Now, when you're running a Pokemon like Piloswine, whose energy just does an absolute ton of damage, this is best case scenario. Now, we do go in for a Vigoroth farm down, and the opponent does just about get to the move here, unfortunately. But getting a shield down on the lead, absolutely huge for this team. This is what we absolutely love to see. And I'm sure the opponent probably does have some sort of a counter to Vigoroth. They actually do come into Crocodile. This is looking a little bit tough. However, we're up 2 shields. We're going to go straight for the Rock Slide, no macing around, no baiting. There's absolutely no need to bait here. And unless the opponent swaps out, we're definitely going to land this move. We actually do let that move go, and we do come into the Piloswine. We're going to put it all on the Pylo here. We're running high horsepower here, which of course does a lot more damage than Stone Edge. I think Stone Edge is a little bit unnecessary. Of course, the opponent gets the attack drop, which is kind of unfortunate here. We're going to go for the big horsepower, and we're going to hope that we can absolutely one-shot something in the back. The opponent comes into a TOGETIC. Is it still possible? Or on Fairy Wind? The opponent's on Fairy Wind. Now, if this was Steel Wing, this might be getting a little bit close here. And we're going to overfarm here to basically 1 before the CMP time, and look to fire off this Avalanche. Will this take them out? It does. Good games well played. Very, very nice game there. And to be honest with you, I do think even if they were in Steel Wing, we would have won that match. So after that 4-1 set, we're up to 29-41, and we get another fantastic lead. Dragonair, in comes Golbat. So what we do like to do here is basically chip it first. You can oftentimes get a shield off this Pokemon, so go for the Ancient Power. See if you can get the shield off the opponent, and make it that if Pylo farms this down or whatever, right, you can basically get off an Avalanche if they come in with their Vigoroth, and just put in a lot of work with this Pokemon. Now this is a non-Shadow Golbat, so who gives a crap about the Shadow Ball, right? That's not doing that much. And like, you can almost guarantee it's going to be a Vigoroth in the back. I think we could have overfarmed slightly more there, which would have allowed us to get to the move a little bit faster, but we do make it on 1 HP. So that is absolutely perfect. Now basically what we can do is throw in TOGETIC, force the opponent for energy. We are still in the yellow, so the opponent still has to throw a Rock Slide here. Yeah, come in, force the energy, get off an Aurelius if possible. We don't have to shield this, we can still get off the move. Now we can either bank this, or throw it straight off. Yeah, we're going to throw it straight off here. The opponent actually catches on Dragonair, which I think is quite a nice catch, realizing that Dragonair, you know, it's sort of a little bit weak to that. Now because the opponent didn't get any farm, we can throw this move immediately, take out the Dragonair before they even get off a move, and then basically we've got a green health Vigoroth against another green health Vigoroth with 2 shields. The opponent decides, you know what, probably not going to win that one, and I think they're probably right. Good games well played, and hopping into the next one, we do have a Primeape lead. I really like Primeape, but in this matchup it's pretty miserable. The opponent comes into a Vigoroth. Now the classic strategy for Vigoroth, safe swap, chip and dip. no matter what your lead is, unless it's like a Pylo Swine, right? If you're taking super effective damage, you might not want to chip it, but you sort of almost have to. If you're going to come into your own Vigoroth, you do sort of have to chip it. Now right here, we decide to shield up, and we're going to commit to the counter down, and hopefully look to get off 2 moves on Primeape. If we get off 2, we can basically force the shield or knockout, and put the opponent in a pretty precarious position. Yeah, they let the first move go. We do get to the move in the last second as well. Absolutely perfect here. If the opponent lets it go, they'll be in a pretty precarious position. The opponent shields it up, so either way they're still in a bad position, and in comes Crocalor. This is quite interesting. So the name of the game here is to get the shield off the opponent. We really need to get the shield, because if they shield, so we do end up coming into the Pylo here. This is just a tricky situation. I guess we're looking to more or less sack it here. Yeah, this is kind of tough. I mean, we sort of do need to get the shield off the opponent, but we can't really shield this move. The Primeape banked some energy before the left, so we're in a pretty tough position here. Of course, they get the entire farm down on the Vigoroth. So if we start shielding here, we're going to get Ice Punch, basically. There's really no win con at this point, so KitKat lets it go. Good games all played there. A little bit unfortunate. Crocalor in the back, it just can be a bit of a core breaker for this team. However, despite all that, she goes 4-1. Would have been really nice to hit 5-0 to get to Legend, but I don't think we're too fussy here. I think we're happy enough to go 4-1 to hit Legend. Very, very good games there. And we're going to have a look at the Pikachu Libre set as well. So yeah, huge congratulations to KitKat. First time hitting Legend, it's such a fantastic feeling. And guys, if you're looking to hit Legend for the first time, you're seeing it here. This is very, very possible. 2 or 3 really good days gets you above Expert, gets you into the 28 to 2900s. It is definitely very possible to do this. So hopping into the Pikachu Libre set, we have a Golbat. A pretty negative lead, but once again, we can tank a move. And if they let the Ancient Power go, it's going to do a lot of damage, especially to the Shadow. So we do fish for the shield here, and most likely come into our own Vigoroth. As you're about to see here, the Ancient Power does a lot of damage to Golbat, especially if you're in Steel Wing. That's one of the main benefits of Steel Wing. The fast move pressure really allows you to fight back against Golbat, and just a lot of other Pokemon in the meta. Now, we're going to go for Body Slam here on the Dragonair. We win the ones against Dragonair, I'm pretty sure, just because Body Slam is so spammy, and we even do get to a next move. Now, I don't mind shielding here, but we do let it go. I didn't mind shielding because we could potentially get the shield down. And I think what we probably look to do here is come into the Pylo Swine to start loading up on energy. We can most likely even commit to the farm down at this point. The opponent might get to 2 moves here just about, but with all this energy we should be in a decent position. The opponent does not get off the move. Absolutely perfect. If Vigoroth comes in, we can just start avalanching the life out of it. Golbat is pretty much dead already, and the opponent comes into, what is that, a Lairon? Was that a Lairon? See ya! And yeah, of course, back in comes Golbat. The opponent's win con at that point was probably to try and call it, that it was not a high horsepower. In comes the Vigoroth lead. Pretty decent lead for us, and they actually swap out to a Crocalor. This is fantastic. The opponent's really putting this into our hands. Now, we make a slight mistake here. We go for 8 Steel Wings, which ends up being CMP. We done 8 Steel Wings, and the opponent's done a 1-turn swap plus 15 turns of Incinerates, so it does end up being CMP there. Now, we're going to go for a second move here by the looks of things. I'm not a huge fan of this. We're staying in for probably far too long here, considering we do have a Vigoroth. This is looking very, very tricky, but I just think at this point, KitKat has already hit Legend, full of adrenaline, and you're probably just super happy with this, so this is completely understandable. Whenever you're in a mindset to try and gain ELO and hit Legend, you have to be 100% dialed in, and whenever you get that huge relief of hitting Legend, it's very easy just to take your foot off the gas a little bit here, so completely understandable. Thankfully, the opponent does come into Vigoroth, so I wonder, is this match over yet? The opponent lets that go. We're going to come in with Pylo Swine. Guys, this is going to be the most aggressive farm down that you've ever seen in your life. We're going to commit to the farm down on Vigoroth, and if the opponent has something in the back that's weak to Pylo Swine, we'll have 2 avalanches ready to go. If it's a Golbat, the opponent comes into a Graveler. Does the opponent know about the high horsepower? Do they respect the high horsepower? They absolutely do not. Goodbye, Graveler. Even though we did make a bit of a misplay that game, we were able to find a win con, farming down the Vigoroth with Pylo Swine from Yellow Health. Such an aggressive farm down, but it worked out absolutely perfectly, and in the next game, we do get a Dragonair lead. Once again, they come into Golbat, and because this is non-Shadow, I don't think they necessarily have to shield here. The opponent is already showing their ABA weak to the Pylo Swine, so it's kind of difficult here. We kind of want to keep this for the Dragonair. We've taken a decent amount of damage, and we sort of want to keep the Pylo Swine for Dragonair as well. The opponent most likely has their own Vigoroth in the back, so I think the name of the game, that was only 6 by the way, they didn't even build up the move, and we're basically going to start farming the life out of this thing. We're going to come out of here with so much energy that we can basically threaten any Pokemon in this meta. We're going to commit to the farm down. The opponent does not get off a last second move, and they do come into Vigoroth here finally. 2 avalanches basically guarantee that you get a shield off Vigoroth, because of course the opponent does not want to take super effective damage on the Dragonair. By the looks of things, these avalanches do around 50% of the Vigoroth, and they're more or less forced to shield up there. Now we're up a shield, we've got our own Vigoroth, we've got a TOGETIC. We should be in an okay position here. What we can even do is throw in the TOGETIC. The opponent got a huge overfarm. The opponent will be forced to go for a Rock Slide. They do go for Body Slam, and we can look to get off the move. I think the opponent actually goes for the catch once again, but same as last time. We just outpace the Dragonair. They've got no shields. We can go for the 0-turn swap. because we threw the charge move. One body slam will KO. I think what we're looking to do this time though is go for the overfarm. We shield up this move because it's the hardest hitting move left in the game, and I think we're committing to the counter down. I think the opponent was getting very, very close to a move there, so a little bit of a risky strat, but we go for the rock slide. Does more raw damage, and that's a good game. So yeah, both ways kind of works there. I would have preferred obviously taking it out immediately, but in any case guys, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. We won the match, and that's all that matters. Hopping into the next one, we actually have quite an interesting lead here. It's a Matang. So what are we going to do with this thing? We basically need to swap out and look to get energy somewhere. The opponent's staying in to throw a move. We do go for body slams here. You're going to see the body slams plus counters just add up on this thing a lot. Matang just really isn't it, to be honest with you. It's not very good. We're going to let this move through. It's a Psy Shock. It definitely hurts the growth quite a lot. And like at this point guys, we're getting up to back-to-back body slams more or less. Let's still come very close to knocking it out if they allow us to get to the move. The opponent fires instantly. And you know what I think this is? I think it's time for a farm down. I think it's time for a Palo Swine farm down. We're going to come here, go for a resisted farm down. The opponent does not get off a move, and we'll see what they want to come into. The opponent comes into a Marsh Stomp and hit all of this energy. Even though Marsh Stomp is quite a good counter for Palo Swine, we can look to do a lot of work here. We do go for a catch, and the opponent comes into their own Palo Swine. Now, since we're ahead by 1 Steel Wing, we can basically look to outpace to these moves. So once again, the name of the game of Palo Swine is to get shields down. If we just let this go now, the opponent can basically look to wither us away. And if we are able to get the shield and leave ourselves up a shield, we can possibly commit to a farm down and perhaps commit with a move for the Marsh Stomp. The opponent is getting super low here. They do fire off another avalanche. What do we decide to do? Yeah, we decide to put it on the Palo. The opponent is very close to the move on the Marsh Stomp. We sort of almost need to build up to back-to-back moves. But also at the same time, since they have a move on the Marsh Stomp, we cannot afford to take an avalanche here. The opponent comes in, goes for the move. We are more or less forced to shield it. And I think this is going to come down to like a CMP tie. Or, oh yeah, they unfortunately just outpace. Now this is non-shadow. Does this KO? Unfortunately it does. So good games. Marsh Stomp, definitely a bit of a core breaker in the back for the Palo. In this next battle we have a Hakamo O lead. Pretty interesting lead for the team, and we do actually go for a nice catch and Vigoroth here. I think we're basically going to commit to the counter down. We do end up giving up a shield because we can get off a lot of damage on the Hakamo O when it comes back. But anyway guys, hope you did enjoy today's video. As you can see, KitKat got to Legend in under 1,000 battles this season. Only started playing Go Battle League seriously probably about 6 months ago, I would say. So it really goes to show you, if you're getting super frustrated with Go Battle League, if you think that, you know, you're just getting held back by the algorithm, if you think that you're just running into nothing but cheaters, you know, if you think that it's just not possible for you to hit Legend, I think KitKat's a fantastic example of, you know, improving your game mechanics, getting better at the game, and achieving your goals. If you're getting stuck every season between Ace, Veteran, Expert, and if you just can't make that push, it's time to sort of have a look at yourself and see what you can do to improve. Is your move timing optimal? Are you running a good team? Are you able to maximize energy whenever you get good opportunities? Are you winning all of the matches you're supposed to win? And are you overcoming some of the matches that are very tricky? Those are the keys to becoming Legend, and like I said, huge shout out to KitKat for doing so. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe. Thank you very much everybody for watching, and have a fantastic rest of your day.